First up is Sam Caniglio.
Coach, congrats on the win. Kind of a 180 turn from the afternoon. Were there any adjustments made heading into game 2 today?
Not too much. You have 40 minutes in between games. We had a game plan for both starting pitchers and kind of went over that a little bit before game 2, but the guys played pretty well. I thought the first game of the doubleheader, the score wasn't really indicative of how the guys played. Tulloch pitched really great. We hit a ton of balls hard and had very few strikeouts. Got thrown out on the bases a couple times early, but things really didn't go our way offensively. I thought we had Larson, their first starter, on the ropes several times and just couldn't get the big knock, couldn't get through. Ended up that ball game got away from us, but we played pretty good. The second game of the doubleheader, guys came out swinging the bat. They gave us some opportunities early with some walks, and we took advantage of that and had solid pitching performances by some guys. So not too big of an adjustment, really. I thought some things went our way, and the guys just kept battling. And sometimes you can get down after getting kicked that good in the first game, but they just stayed the course.
Next is Cody Esper.
In the first game with Adam, what was the pitch that was giving him trouble that I think he hit 3 guys with it?
Yeah, it was the slider to left-handed hitters. So normally you want that left-on-left slider to play going away from the left-handed hitter. It's a very difficult pitch for them to see, first of all, and then make solid contact with. And he was kind of selling that thing arm side, and that's a pitch that he likes. And actually, that's a pitch that before he went out on that inning, he said he wanted to lead off that left-handed hitter with and hit a few lefties with the slider.
Over to Sam.
It's kind of a key stat in the first game today was runners in scoring position. Your guys went over, but then tonight, I should say, they batted .375 with guys in scoring position. Is that kind of bad luck, good luck, or is that more execution based, do you think?
It's a good question. You're always asking yourself that, and you look at those stats and you see certain guys that are performing at a really high level with runners in scoring position. You see guys that perform well with bases loaded. Traditionally, hitters hit better with runners in scoring position and bases loaded because there's more pressure on the pitcher. They're having to make really big pitches in big spots. We haven't been great at that, but sometimes it's how it falls. You look at certain kids on certain years even, and they'll be really good with runners in scoring position, and then other years not so much. And so it's always trying to better understand, is this something that's going on mentally with a player that's not allowing them to perform at their highest level, or is this just dumb luck that sometimes they're barreling some balls up and they're not falling, or the pitcher's making better pitches when those situations come up, which can happen as well. But certainly with young guys, if you see that trend, it's something worth talking about because anxiety and stress and pressure doesn't allow you to perform the same way when you're calm. And so oftentimes young players will do better with nobody on base than with runners in scoring position simply because they're trying harder, and that doesn't actually play.
Cody?
I want to ask you about the approach for the hitters. You got a ton of walks this weekend. Is that something specific you guys focus on, or is that just a product of having a lot of experienced guys in the lineup?
Yeah, it's starting to look that way. It's something that we really work on, not necessarily walks, but we work on strike zone awareness and we work on approach heavily. We work on approach more than anything mechanically. And so it's starting to look that way, that our team's not going to strike out very much and they're going to swing at good pitches, and they don't offer at pitches out of the zone. I'll have to look at our numbers over the course of the season, but even with COVID shutdowns and playing true freshmen, it looks like we have a chance to have quality at-bats on a regular basis, especially now that you have some veterans and some older guys that are playing every day. I think this weekend we had a 4 strikeout game, a 1 strikeout game. And then tonight we had 9 strikeouts and 11 walks. But I would guess that our walk to strikeout ratio is as good through 19 games as it's ever been since I've been here. And so in college baseball, if you don't kick the ball around, you don't throw the ball around, and you don't strike out, you give yourself a chance to win a lot of games. Pitchers don't give up free passes with walks and hit by pitches. And so it's a good trend to see. If you barrel a lot of baseballs and you're able to play catch and throw some strikes, you really have a chance in college baseball. And so it's a good thing to see out of our offense.
Go ahead, Kevin.
It's usually about this point in the season, you're starting to get into a routine of weekend league series, midweek game, or a couple of midweeks game. You have the midweek off this week. So how does that change what you do this week in your preparation for Oklahoma State?
Yeah, we'll have some sort of simulated game on Tuesday with some of the pitchers that didn't get as much time. And so our hitters can get live at bats, and the few pitchers can toe the rubber that don't have a ton of innings or need work. It is a Thursday through Saturday series. And so kind of a short rest. We fly out on Wednesday and we practice on Wednesday. We'll have an off day mixed in there as well. So not a bad week to not have a midweek game. We're still getting guys pitch counts up and innings up. And so we actually tried to find a midweek opponent, and it's just really difficult at this time. Regional opponents are hard to find. Some of the smaller schools are only playing conference schedules. And so I think it was a good midweek to have off. There's a few other midweeks later in the year that we don't have anything scheduled yet that we're working pretty hard to fill.